Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DoorDash LCO, where we're about to get underway with game number 3. But of course, before we do, we have some solid content from the man, the legend, the Twitch VIP, the Dar Antares. So let's bring it up. It's from the fans yet again. And at Dar Antares, he's given us his predictions in meme form. Skimmy, run us through it.
Yes, we'll start off here with a Dragon. Shyvana's out of the meta, but definitely getting it done against Gravitas, except that there was no piece found here. So, apparently a shield beats a Dragon, lol. Pentanet looking to try and, I don't know, hit them with some fire. They want to try and make their next match against Legacy lit, as cringe as that sounds. Chiefs trying to roundhouse with a bit of, I don't want to say that word. I was going to say that word, but that would have been a bit of, let's just get past that one. And then Mammoth, Mammoth just spraying? I don't know. Maybe they're just praying. Look, I'm gonna say that these memes are too forehead for me.
Okay, I think that is that Mammoth beating Direwolves?
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, he thinks.
But back to that shield one. Have you ever? I'm not going to mention the game because it's forbidden. But have you heard of an anti-dragon fire shield?
What do you mean it's forbidden? It's a great game.
I have heard of that. Yeah, it's actually really strong. Lots of resistances.
Yes, that does stop dragon flames.
It's true. Maybe Gravitas are on one.
Yep.
Maybe they're multi-game gamers.
Yep.
Maybe they just knew exactly what was going to happen. But thank you again to Dar Antares for creating another prediction meme, because everyone else could do that. There's currently 3,346 people at least watching, if not more, on other platforms. And mate, I'll tell you, there's one that's sending in content
do
from
we
the
get any Juice template memes? Did anyone snip and edit and all the rest?
I really hope they did, but if it happened, we haven't seen it. So maybe
sad.
At me as well, just so I can see it and then send it to production, and I'll say, look, there's sick content, get it on the broadcast. Now, let's have a quick look at this meme as well, because Legacy's been brewing up a storm, and it's also... Oh, sorry, we're talking Legacy lineup first. And then sorry, I leaked the meme. Let's have a quick look at the Legacy's lineup, because, of course, it does have something special in it today. And that is not Legacy. So it also doesn't have the man that his birthday is. Well, that can be spoken about soon. But let's talk Pentanet first. So, Pabu, he's got green hair. That's very interesting, isn't it, Juice?
Yeah, and I mean, that was going to be my main talking point for this team, is the fact that Pabu did have green hair. But he has, in fact, dyed that back to black, I believe, just to stop any confusion that was coming through with his green screen. But nevertheless, this team's actually hitting their straps now. They're starting to pick up some wins, some convincing ones too. And I think they're actually falling back again to an identity in which we're used to seeing them play. Stable early game, get to a point in which they'll be strong enough to group and team fight, and just let the boys carry and the boys take over.
Yeah, it seems like a very, very strong strategy there. But Pentanet, they are starting to look a little bit more like we expected them to from last split. Again, just, coming from that mid-game, just saying, hey, it's time to stomp and putting their foot down, getting the dubs on the board and sending it forward. Now, let's talk Legacy lineup, the one which we were initially supposed to talk about. And Skimmy, you promised me you were going to sing Happy Birthday to Sybil, and here's your opportunity.
Okay, well, Brother Shyball has graced us with another year's wisdom, another year of age and expertise. He is the early game jungler. He looks like the baby-faced assassin, but he's grown 1 year older. So, are we really going with this, Mac? Are we going to start singing Happy Birthday? Are we all joining in?
We can, but it could be desynced because it's online. But we can try anyway. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sybil. Happy birthday. We got told to shut up by production. That's okay. Anyway, happy birthday, Sybil. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. And there you have it. Legacy as well, with a nice birthday message there for Sybil. So I thought we had pipes, honestly. I thought we did a very good job.
What was 5? What was buzz?
I think we were scaring off the viewers.
Yeah, maybe too many clips. Maybe we're trying too hard to get front page Reddit.
The reason that I hate birthdays is because, like, you're 1 year closer to the career being over.
Well, that is a negative mindset, and as long as you think you're a child, you can continue playing this game too, and that's why I'm still talking about video games at the ripe age of 29, and I'm only getting older, and I don't plan on changing that. Now, this game, last time they went head-to-head, Pentanet did get the W on the board over Legacy, So maybe Legacy can pull through a happy birthday dub for Sybil. I guess we'll find out, unless Pentanet just play their A games as expected. But at this point, you know, they're not even at the top of the table. They have copped more L's than expected, and they've maybe put a foot into the wrong position or two and been caught out for it and punished. So, you know, how do we see this one going, Juice?
Look, you'd have to be a little bit crazy to say that it's not going the Pentanet way. But I mean, a lot of the games between Pentanet and Legacy have been very close. They've been close up until, you know, the 28, 30-minute mark, where Pentanet's superior team fighting and map play has really been what's carried them over the line, as we've seen in these replays. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a close one, but it just pivots on, you know, a Baron fight, a Dragon fight, in which Pentanet probably just a little bit too synergized, have a little bit too much composure.
This matchup in particular, Mac, was interesting for me because Incursio gets his Katarina once again, and I think the only times it seemed to happen now, I think it was actually twice now he's had it, and it's only been against Pentanet in particular, right?
Yeah.
But that second time around, they clearly targeted him in the in the drafting phase, right? They went for like the Gragas, the Set, the Diana, everything to try and prevent him from ever ulting, right? It was a situation kind of like we had with Order in Chiefs where, you know, if the LeBlanc wants to go in, you're just going to get a Lissandra ultimate thrown at you. So it was just like, sure, you can have your Katarina, but we're going to destroy that and make you a non-factor. And I think we've seen that Legacy have enough depth that they can play other stuff to be aggressive with.
Yeah, they completely neutralized him. Now let's see if that happens again today. Someone that also hates being neutralized, understandably, is Nat. Now let's bring her back in from the side lanes. What are you doing? What are you doing down the side lanes? Who you got there?
Yeah, actually, I was just prepping something off to the side for Sybil, so I'll just grab this one here. It's a freshly made candle. I made this one just the other day. I've ordered for him. I'm going to jump in the interview and I'm going to tell him exactly what we're going to do with it. Hello, guys. Happy birthday, Sybil. I got a candle here for you because I thought it's not really a birthday unless you get to make a wish. So, because of COVID, I'm going to blow the candle out for you. But when I do, you get to make a wish. You happy with that?
Okay. Yep.
You got a wish? You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
There we go.
Okay.
Hopefully whatever your wish comes true. No, we can't.
We're not
whatever you say
will
will come true. No. And look, because it's your birthday, I'm going to give you maybe a little bit of free pass. I was going to roast you in this interview because, and I'm going to quote you directly here, Jubes might just be my favorite interviewer though. So you're lucky it's your birthday. I'll leave it at that one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look, I didn't say that.
Decoy, so I'll start with Decoy. You guys did win up against Legacy last time you played, so I want to know what you're hoping to bring and hopefully do again to get another win.
Usually versus Legacy, they get quite a big lead early game, which is pretty scary because they have become quite a good team. So hopefully we have a stable early game and it should be a pretty easy win for us.
Do you guys think you are improving on your early game? Because it didn't look that bad yesterday, I have to say. Do you think it is going to be
Yeah, I think our early game, like sometimes it's a flip, but if we play disciplined and just do what we do, our early game is pretty solid, and we all know our mid game is probably the best in the league. So yeah, I think our early game is okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing the best early game you've ever put on. But Sybil, over at Legacy, you guys are always putting on a good early game. Do you think this is going to be your advantage facing Pentanet today?
Only if we can turn that into a win. Yeah, our early games are pretty good, but Pentanet, as Decoy said, their mid games are pretty insane. So almost no matter what advantage we get, we still have to play really well to win. So it's a hard matchup.
What are you focusing on to improve that mid game?
We've been focusing a lot on, as I said in the last couple of interviews, like dragons and wave management in mid game, so that we are still getting plenty of farm, and not just because if you just group all the time, you can't really go wrong in terms of getting caught or anything. But you just get behind and farm, and versus a good team, if you just group, they'll just split and farm better than you. So we're just trying to get as much farm as we can without being too vulnerable and getting caught. And I think we're definitely better at that. Especially we've been trying to play all these different comps, with Ziggs with TP and Winter are playing side lane stuff too.
Yeah, it's great to hear that you guys are focusing and you kind of know what's going wrong. But I want to know, what do you think has been the biggest improvement for you personally this split already?
Probably my communication. I think I used to be quite a quiet player. I would just want to do my own thing, and I'd be like, okay, you guys, you do your own thing, like I'll do my thing, and then let's win. But I think I'm more of a player that these days, especially with my team, who most of them are pretty rookie, like they're all pretty rookie status. So I've realized that like stepping up and trying to bridge the gap between my experience and knowledge and their inexperience has been like the area I've improved the most. And I'm pretty sure that like a lot of our wins have come because I've really stepped up in that area. I think if I didn't do that, then we probably would have lost most of our games.
I love to hear that you know exactly what's going on for you in personal development. But Decoy, same question. Where do you think your biggest personal development has been so far this split?
Well, I think in the last week I took a break after like last week's games because I thought my performance was not on par. And coming into this week, I've just been playing like really confidently, especially in scrims. So I guess like just having confidence in my gameplay.
Yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't have a little bit more confidence, Decoy. You're definitely one of the great supports out there. But I will wish you both good luck in tonight's game. There you go, true. Sybil agrees. But I'll let you both go. Good luck in tonight's game. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Nat.
Big dubs, and I think that interview was lovely. Hopefully, whatever Sybil decided to wish for comes true. Now, something that is going to be less exciting than everything else we've experienced so far on this death segment is predictions. Because, again, you've all gone for one team, and there's no surprises here. I'm going to assume it's Pentanet because one page says Pentanet, and if we flip it over to the second page, that's probably also going to say Pentanet.
Yeah.
And there you have it. So, I don't know. I've been right at telling Twitch chat to go for the opposite to what all the talent's been back in all night. And, you know, Sybil's got that birthday luck too. So maybe it's worth putting your Twitch channel points exactly where your mouth is, because that's where we need it if Mac is to get the underdog prediction, because there is a chance that that one comes through, although Pentanet do realize their win conditions here in the game of don't int too hard in the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then it's just going to be an easy game for them. And I probably expect that to happen too, but I love an underdog story and a birthday story as well. Is it a Christmas story? Almost at this point. It's Christmas in July.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could say anything more than that. I'm going to say that deep down, I really do want to see Legacy win, but it's not necessarily like taking the dub, right? When I say win, I mean, I want them to come out of it and be like, sure, we lost, but I'm still so happy and impressed with our performance compared to the last time they faced off, you know? I think it was something like 27 kills to 9 kills, you know, right there. They didn't take a single tower. It's just all those little things that I want Legacy to focus on as well and be like, that's still a win in our books.
I think that sounds pretty spot on. Now, before we do get into Game 3, it is definitely prime time for dinner, but if you're feeling cheeky, you could also grab some dessert. So exclamation DoorDash in chat. Grab yourself some donuts from Krispy Kreme and spoil yourself, because I know if I could get myself some a shaken donuts, I certainly would. But I'm on a diet, so I'm not going to do that. But I hope you guys indulge for me. Now, going head-to-head, are we going to expect anything crazy in the draft here, Juice?
No, usually last split I did say that Legacy would be the team to whip out some crazy things, but at the moment they're actually just thriving playing better, which is a nice thing to see.
Okay.
You know, Incursio's kind of, you know, solidified himself with those 3 or 4 champions that he's really comfortable on, and I think that's why Legacy have been sort of so successful.
Well, let's see if that success continues, or if Pentanet are going to come in find that second spot on the table. However, ladies and gents, it's time for match number 3 of the day. Pentanet and Legacy, here they are.
Here they are indeed. The league standings are as close as ever, and this will be another matchup that would help keep that confusion alive here, Jubes, as Pentanet have got the double ready over Legacy, but can Legacy cause an upset here tonight?
Yeah, the Silas respect ban over towards Incursio already. We've seen him pick up the solo kill onto Kisei yesterday with that, actually.
He has. As the Zinzao will be banned away as well. Both actually quite enjoy playing that champion. We've seen Sybil play it a fair bit. Just gives him so much potential to dive in deep and find the angles that we just can't see. We've said that a few times now, but he's a man that, especially from that interview there, says, you know, a little bit more confident, a little bit more outspoken. I'm able to try and guide our team to victory and say, look, this is what I'm going for, and this is how we're going to play.
Yeah, and I hate. By the way, I hate when teams do this. You come into draft and you know what you're going to ban for the most part, and you're letting it tick down to 1 second. You're letting us sit here in suspense, waiting for 1 second. That's what you're doing. That's what you've decided. You woke up today and you said, you know what I'm going to do in Champ Select? I'm going to make Skimmy and Juice wait.
Yeah.
We're going to get down to the second, and
it's a bit
then
rude,
I'll
isn't
ban.
it? It really is a little bit rude.
I'm going to have a word. I'll be having a word.
What is also rude is the fact that Legacy have banned away to Diana, and Pabu's played 5 games of it. He's never actually played any other champion more than once. He's pretty much, you'd say, at this stage, been one-tricking the Diana.
Yeah, well, Diana is like, I think S tier. I don't know why it's not picked more. I think it's kind of slept on a little bit in a weird way. Like, I think everyone knows it's strong, but no one picks it for some reason. I think they're scared of getting exhausted. And by exhausted, I mean literally the summoner spell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one.
This is a strong opening here from Pentanet. The fact they get the Akali once again. We know it can be flexed in 2 different lanes, but you'd imagine it's probably going for Chaz to try and pop off on. Legacy, however, have opened up with the Viego and the Ziggs. We've seen this from them before. It was actually the draft they ran against Gravitas, where they had such a strong lead. Styled was playing the map beautifully, getting multiple turrets to give themselves a strong lead. Ultimately, though, they weren't able to get that game across the finishing line. So we'll see how they complete this roster. Pentanet, though, going to stick with the Aphelios. It's been one of those champions that's continued to crop up and has a rather high win rate as well.
I think Pentanet have kind of drafted themselves not into a problem, but something to consider. Like, the reason I say this is because you look at Lulu and you look at Aphelios. The reason that Ziggs is in meta, obviously there's a bunch of reasons, but a particular reason is that Ziggs shuts down or does very well into no mobility. And Lulu Aphelios are 2 bot laners with 0 mobility. Yes, there's a wild growth, which is obviously going to help, but you have to consider if Lulu's wild growth in the Aphelios, she's also going to be the one that's going to take the brunt of the damage. And Ziggs, you know, lanes well into the Lulu, into the Aphelios, but out of lane, the Mega Inferno Bomb's going to do so much work. So, you know, if I was looking at both drafts just at first glance, I really like Legacy so far.
We do. Plenty of engage avenues. Definitely not going to be fully reliant on the Viego to start off the fight. Obviously got the Nautilus now. Combo that together, a lot of CC to guarantee that Ziggs uptime will be strong, and there's going to be the fresh ban, because we've seen this from the start of Split 2 that Pentanet have gone for the Lulu, flexed it topside and picked a tank or melee support bot side as well to go for the full all-in, protect the carry, and as you'd see, I mean, you can buff up the Aphelios, or you definitely could buff up the Akali.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing a Braum ban too, right? I mean...
Sure. It's been the most common pairing with it.
Yeah, just because, you know, with their Jace ban, it almost does say to me that Lulu is looking to play top side.
Yep.
But then Pentanet do run into the problem, I guess, of having 2 AP solo laners. They might even have, like, the option for an AP jungler. You know, there's not many good AD options available in terms of just how the meta's transpired. But that'll be something for Pentanet to consider, as well as the Legacy.
We know how strong Biopanther is on the set, so that's going to be taken away from them. And we've seen Winter bust up the Jace early on as well. We saw... we actually played this into the matchup last time. It was Biopanther topside that played the Gragas into it. And then the final ban will be the Elise. No surprises there. One of the coveted picks that Sybil loves to run with. You know, he loves to play these early game champions. We actually got surprised, I believe, last week, right? Up against Order, where he played the Echo.
Yeah, he actually had a good game too. I was a bit surprised to see that Echo. But
Sejuani seems like an old faithful of his too.
Well, so obviously we know now that's probably Viego going mid lane.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, you want to pair Sejuani with something that, you know, is melee range, or like obviously to get the most use out of the Sejuani passive. And Viego and Sejuani are quite a strong 2v2, right? You know, you land the Glacial Prison, Viego can get a kill, get the reset, and then all of a sudden you're laughing in that 2v2.
Certainly are. And we've seen Incursey play 4 games so far as the Viego's most played.
That's locked in.
Yet to see it elsewhere. There's going to be a Cho'Gath. Now, this kind of dates me back a while ago. I think about Legacy of old, where they had Raze and the rest of the squad there, and you saw that they would play this composition of just, protect the carry, right? They had a Cho'Gath that would front line, and it was just amplification beyond all measure. Now you got yourself a Trundle. It's pillars, knock-ups, silences, polymorphs, and if anybody gets low, assassination.
The Trundle from Pentanet as a last pick here actually makes sense, because you have the subjugate target on Nautilus, and if you can time that with the Aftershock, then you're going to be able to steal even more stats. But, let's say that you can't do that. Obviously, Sejuani is just going to be the prime target for that subjugate. And it's going to make Sejuani quite squishy. So, in terms of what Pentanet have put together, it's great. But the thing that they need to be careful of is Praedyth not falling behind. And if there's one thing that we've seen Pentanet be susceptible to this split, it's falling behind bot side of the map, right? Yes, they've had good games out of laning phase, but you heard Decoy in his interview himself. He just needs to find his confidence and he wants to start playing well again. So, again, composition makes sense. It's a beefy front line for Praedyth. But if Praedyth and Decoy fall behind, which they have in previous weeks, and particularly they have into Styled and Amalg, then their draft does just, rely heavily on what is going to be, ability power.
Yeah, a good point you raise. Worth noting that Praedyth played this Aphelios yesterday up against the Mammoth and went 8-1-3. Had a beautiful showing on the champion. Wasn't able to get the MVP in that case as Decoy picked it up. But these boys are slowly coming into their own right. You've heard a lot of chatter around saying that, they're not the strongest in terms of laning right now, but certainly show up post 15 minutes. They'll be looking to try and tap into some of that magic. Obviously a volatile matchup for them to play into. And I'm very keen to explore the idea of how they go into this Ziggs, right? Because you said it before, Stardom and Omega giving them troubles in the past. If they get a strong laning phase, then you just have to hope the rest of your team is on even footing to group up and say, we're in a really good position to win this game as well. Yeah.
And the one thing, or the one place I want to keep my eyes on is this Akali. Because if all else fails, this Akali is going to have a very good time. Akali's going to have a good time into both these solo lane matchups. Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Big Mez.
Mama Pabu, ready to rock and roll once again. Got the pet on standby.
That's
unfortunately, well, hopefully, Nami doesn't fall asleep this time. Hopefully, wide awake and ready to cheer the boys on.
I'm not a cat person, I'll be honest, and I'm probably going to get flamed for this. I'm a dog guy, but that's a cute cat. That is a cute cat.
It certainly is.
Very cute. I believe cat's name's Nami too. Oh wait, she said it in the caption. But yeah, anyway, we'll move on.
Anyway, Jubes, let's get ourselves into this one. I believe we'll gloss over that wasn't a... well, I've got myself completely lost on this one. Let's just move on. Let's just jump into this one. Let's just move on. Look, mate, we have these moments. Sometimes, your mind blanks and you move on and you hope that chat doesn't recognize it. But anyway, regardless, another Trundle in the jungle. You were critical of it yesterday, I believe, but obviously a lot more champions for the subjugate and the pillar to find value on this time.
Yeah, 100%. It's got 3 targets, right? If Na's in mega form and you pop that subjugate, like, it's still a lot of value. So again, in this game, the Trundle makes a lot more sense, particularly too because the pillar stops a lot of the mobility coming out of the Viego, potentially the Nautilus hook, because you can hook the terrain. So got a lot of value in this game.
I do, and I'm keen to see how they explore it. And as we get ourselves into the 3rd game of the night, it's the 2nd Super Week, and these teams are as close as it gets right now. This would certainly get people more excited as to what things have been shown on display here. And to help coach us through some of this, we do have the coach of Pentanet, Charlie, on standby once again. Welcome back, mate. It's been a hot minute since we last caught up. How's the atmosphere in the team so far?
The atmosphere is fantastic now that we've locked in Aphelios, Lulu, and a bunch of tanks. Yeah, we're going pretty well at the moment, Skimmy.
Yeah, look, I mean, we saw it in the draft. People are a bit critical, saying, oh, Aphelios laning into Ziggs. We know that Ziggs is so strong right now, and seems to be the flavor of the month to try and find value. What was the sort of the word on that when that was locked in? Say, Praedyth, you had a great game yesterday. Let's just run it back again.
Yeah, I mean, like, we saw the Ziggs coming, and we spoke about the conventional counter picks into playing into a Ziggs comp. I'm not going to say on broadcast, but we decided in the end, like, let's just play what we're good at. Praedyth's competency on the champion Aphelios and Aphelios' relative strength when you have Enchanter with it kind of, in our opinion, outweighs countering what Ziggs wants to do inside of the game. So we're just sticking to comfort and get a good result with that.
Yeah, talking of comfort, obviously there's a few comfortable champions across the board, but we had to start with that Cho'Gath. That caught a lot of people off guard, but got people quite excited as to what it can offer in these team fights.
Yeah, we got down to that point in the draft, and Fire Panther and I were discussing what to pick. We're deciding, okay, are we going to put the Lulu support? Are we going to put the Lulu top? Where are we going to get engaged from in the comp? And he just said to pick Cho'Gath. So when Brandon looks at me and he says pick Cho'Gath, we pick Cho'Gath, you know? So we'll see how that one goes.
You believe in bio?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. He knows his way around these tanks.
Tell me, so obviously this has been such a close split too. Would you say there's any team in particular that you've assessed as your rival? I mean, everyone was saying it was a two-legged race right between yourselves and Peace last split, but this time around, is there a certain team that you'd say is your kryptonite?
Oh, definitely Gravitas, but no, I don't know. At this point in the season, like everyone's so close and tied up, I think that Peace will look better once the split goes on. They have a new support, RP, who only just started playing the role, so he's not having the best showing right now. I think as long as Peace's environment stays positive and they foster some improvement in him, Peace will be who we play in the grand final. That being said, I think that Chiefs definitely have found an identity that fits them quite well. So it really depends on how like the meta evolves around certain picks as well. But we've seen Chiefs lose today to Order. Every team can lose is the thing. So hopefully by the end of the split,
it's one of those days, isn't it? It feels a little bit cursed.
Yeah, like don't say that, please. But hopefully we could just win the game we're meant to win, lose the games we're meant to lose, and then send the right team to Worlds, you know?
That's the way, mate. Well, obviously you put together another composition where it's there to try and buff up Praetor. He unfortunately avoided the play that delivered yesterday, but we'll see if he can get it today. Thanks for your time, Charlie, and wish you boys the best of luck.
No worries, thanks so much.
Well, as that was going on, I did see a cheeky little kill from Incursio.
Yeah, I don't have a replay for that. Maybe we'll get one soon, but it was just a solo bolo. Like, level 2, he ticked level 2 first, went for the all-in, flash forward. And I think, honestly, Chaz was caught off guard a little bit by the Ignite. Like, it's not every day we see Viego mid lane with Ignite, but it's kind of what I wanted to talk about with Incursio and why I think he performs so well on stage sometimes is because he actually plays the game like he's playing solo queue. He just takes Ignite, and he just plays for the solo kill. And that's why sometimes he drops double-digit deaths. And other times why he carries the game. Because he actually absolutely just plays the exact same way, regardless of his opponent. And lately it's been working out for him. Like, he's had some very, 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 very good performances. And this looks like it's well on the way to be another one.
It could be. And it always spawns a interesting conversation as to, you know, what would you prefer? Somebody that's always consistent or somebody that can have such high upswing or quite low lows. But speaking of, that's Emil hitting a low point as he hooks into terrain and realizes I've just absorbed so much pressure. A wave crashing, Pabu on the hunt, the pillar, the chomp, and a double kill for the man himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bot lane gap in terms of the way that they're laning, right? There's no way your Ziggs should be out of mana, your Nautilus should be hooking here as we get the replay. So it's just level 2 Incursio. He made flash W here. Pop the Ignite as well. Oh no, not even a flash. Okay.
One auto and the Ignite, yeah, guarantees that. Beautiful.
Again, probably just, honestly, Chaz not factoring in the Ignite. Again, like, you kind of condition yourself to expect the same thing every competitive game. And he probably just thought, you know, I'm going against Viego, that's a teleport, and bang.
Well, let's see what he can do with his leads.
That's a Wheeze moment if you're an Incursio fan.
There's the Shroud, there's Incursio, tries to draw him to the bottom side brush. Not going to fall to that bait as Emil just gives him a helping hand, absorbs some minions to get that support item upgraded as quickly as possible. But the Strundle, 2-0 start, rushes the pickaxe, a lot of instant AD, and is going to be a bit of a menace to start off with.
But that's probably best case scenario for Legacy, right? The fact that Pabu gets both kills, like, if Praetor is the one who picks those up, then this laning phase bot lane becomes near impossible. But now it's a little more survivable. It's still going to be Ziggs just playing for minions, trying to do his best to wave clear, and might be a fight here. That's a...
Yeah, nothing eventuates from it, but a TP will be committed here by Winterer, who's just said, look, let's just push in the wave.
Yeah.
You know, he's very close to Mega Gnar. Got himself level 6. And, well, I guess he's just looking to try and push that wave in.
Yeah, it's not great, because he gives Fire Panther a free reset. He was kind of low on mana. Now he probably doesn't even need to use the teleport to get back to lane, which is a bit of a shame. He'll get this wave in, and he'll walk back, save the teleport, and Winter now needs to find a window where he can get a base off, so that's pretty big.
Wondering what he was looking for there. No Herald to summon. Maybe a fight to try and guarantee the first dragon went their way. Nonetheless, I'm not going to find it just yet. It's been a hot minute since we last saw Winter play the Nile. I haven't seen it all of Split 2. When he played it in Split 1, I forget which team it was up against, but he had that massive moment where the rage bar was just about to expire, and then he hits, like, I think, a 3-man shove into the wall and had us all up in the air screaming. Definitely a player that has a fair bit of personality. We've seen it from the interviews, but he displays it in his gameplay too.
Oh, I want him to win, and I really hope Nat picks him for the interview.
Yeah, you and me both. As far as bot lane goes, though, you talked about how it might be nice for Legacy's bot lane to not worry about the fact that Praetor for Decoy got the kill, but it is still a bit of a CS advantage here for Praetor. Navigating that Ziggs matchup quite nicely.
It is the Kali favored. I did talk to some of the pro players last night, and they did say like the Viego matchup is well and truly a Kali favored. So it is all about just surviving, or not surviving necessarily, but just getting to that Divine Sundara and being able to take over the game or take over the skirmishes. And
well, here come the two junglers right now, looking to try and butt heads. Blue buff seems to be the contest as Pablo wants to do the invade. He's drawn his bot lane towards him and grabbed mid lane's attention as well. And Simple waiting in the wings can have a bit of a cheeky smite off, and on this occasion, Pablo wins.
Pablo does win, but Pablo has no flash as well. Keep that in mind here.
Yeah, it guarantees the stun charge goes on through as the pillar gets dropped, and much to your point before, prevents the chase from Viego. Creative cycling through these weapon choices, hits level 6 on the wave as well. Now needs to be careful. He's got flashing cleanse, that could be huge. Flashes the satchel, charge now needs to deal with this. Cleanses the stun from Viego.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure going the way of Legacy. And onto that man in particular, and he's down to half. And no summoners for 5 minutes.
You need to wonder, like, did he do the tab check? Did he know Praetor had cleanse? Because your flash for a cleanse is never worth the trade, but it also it gives Sybil the option now to fling an ultimate bot side of the map, and Pablo's just used the subjugate, and Ermalg is absolutely melting. He has no flash either. Can he get a hook shot on that wall? Nah, he's dead.
Looking for it, but Decoy's going to pick that kill up from afar. And he's now got a fair bit of gold, 100% kill participation on this Lulu. You mentioned, want to play confidently. Certainly seems to be a man doing just that as the Glacial Prison comes in, connects. Chaz caught in a spot above. I should have known that, given the rotations of what was happening just moments before, and flashes the safety into the waiting arms of his support. So, a bit aggressive there, but it does mean that Pensnet can guarantee the first dragon of the game.
But now Sybil has options, right? He's got a mid lane he can go to, he's got a AD carry he can go to, so be keeping my eyes on him the next time that Glacial Prison is up, just to see which lane he decides to go to.
Good TP there on the cannon, holding the wave. Decoy is here to protect, and going to try and soak up as much of this as possible without taking too much damage.
But Chaz has done a very good job stabilizing, and by stabilizing, he's up 20 CS. So have to attribute that to the fact that he actually does have a teleport, right? Inkosi has opted in for the kill threat with that ignite. Chaz has opted in for the, I guess, cheat of tempo with the TP. So he's faring very well in this lane now. And you know what? He's probably up gold, or at least even, because again, that amount of CS does equate to a kill. So all the hard work that Inkosia has done to generate that lead has probably, he's actually in a deficit now.
No, down 100 gold, so kills for CS, the age-old debate as to what's worth this and that. This occasion doesn't seem to be doing too much justice. Obviously, burn his flash bot side to try and get a kill on towards Praetor, but the cleanse was there to match. The ignite won't be too far away if he hunts again for another little kill opportunity. There's these rush the Sheen, so definitely keen to skirmish.
Inkosia probably has a decent purchase on his base, but he's having a rough time finding the window to base. You see, he's channeling every wave, he's channeling his base, but Chaz is just putting on the pressure and using every cooldown possible to get the wave under turret and keeping Inkosia in lane, because the longer he does this, the more time Pablo has to do things like this, right? If Legacy decide to contest, Inkosia has, a bucket load of gold sitting in his back pocket, and he's going to be weaker in this skirmish because of it.
First out of the game. Out goes the Glacial Prism, locks in place Pabu. Instant flash away, and that cancels out Winter as Gnar. Now they're in a spot above it. His E goes back Mini, and then Curcio pounces apart and steals the soul of the Akali. Legacy finding the fight, finding the kill.
Yeah, I mean, nice little skirmish there coming from Legacy, but Pentanet.gg missed their window, or they didn't miss it, but they went on the wrong timing. Like, Pabu started that Rift Herald on Mega Gnar. I mean, if there's one rule of League of Legends, it's like you don't start those objectives when there's a Mega Gnar walking down, right? When he's in mini, go for it, go for your life. But again, a little bit disjointed. And the one thing, I guess if I'm a critic, well, and I sort of am, I guess I'm analyzing rather, but Chaz and Pabu have kind of all split, been on different pages, it feels like, compared to the first split, right? When they went on their tremendous 13-1 run. Sure. It really just feels like they're so disjointed. Like Chaz goes in there, Pabu's trying to disengage, and again, there's no subjugate going down until later, and Legacy aren't a team that's going to take a backward step. Like, if you make a mistake, you know that they're going to be there and they're ready to fight, and this is what makes Legacy so good sometimes.
Well, it does, because they want to take those fights, right? Where other teams might say, okay, we'll give that one up, we'll just lane, we'll get a CS advantage, which is what Pentanet have had. But Legacy will take that fight, and it works wonders for them. We've said it all night long. Ziggs with the Heralds, going to give Styles so much pressure to then pretty much dictate what other side of the map they want to play to. Get the first turret of the game to equalize this gold deficit. So it's interesting to see, highlighting your point between the mid jungler Pentanet, how they come back into this one.
But this Rift Herald's got to go down soon if he wants plates. Like,
yeah, 30 seconds.
And I don't even know if it's an option of do it where Ziggs is. It might be just wait. He's gone to blue. I don't think he cares about plates. See, for me, I'd love for Sybil here just to drop it mid, charge, get the plates, and then in a window where Ziggs gets a little bit of time, Ziggs can walk mid and use the satchel charge to take turret. Like, it doesn't have to be in one motion, but now you've just missed out on plates. Not the be-all and end-all for sure, but
sure,
would be nice.
I suppose the argument is, instant injection of gold versus the ability to, macro once again your opposition, right? Where they go for a contest or a trade, and you've got that running down and potentially getting 2 turret charges off.
Yeah, you're right. And again, Pentanet don't mind this being a slower game. They don't mind. They wouldn't mind that the game plays out like this for another 15 more minutes if need be. Aphelios is going to be able to get those items up, and they're probably going to generate nice CS lead in the bot lane, which they're already doing. So, whilst Legacy are finding a little more success in this game in terms of recent skirmishes, Rift Heralds and whatnot, Pentanet are still perfectly fine with how the lanes are playing out.
Yeah. As they'll continue at this current pace of just getting in your face and look to try and find fights wherever they can. They're the ones that deploy into the river first, so inline track to now get the second Herald of the game, or sorry, the second Dragon of the game, the first for them as a team. So much damage their way, and there are TPs available for these solo laners to join in if need be.
Yep.
It's a late TP for Pentanet to try and force the fight, but there's a backup TP from Gnar on the flank as well. They're ready to group up, might be our first 5v5 of the game, and Predator's being left to the walls right now, getting solid out here by Incurcio, who gets silenced and just deleted. Execution's flawless there from Chaz, and finds himself a much-needed kill.
I can tell what Praedyth we're going to get by how the early game plays out, and unfortunately for Legacy, it feels like this is the Praedyth that's just not going to lose. And Pabu.
Yeah, Pabu on a bit of a tear right now. 1v3 Subjugate is just alive and kicking. It does so much to mitigate this damage. Predator from afar with the Moonlight Vigil. The AoE of the Flamethrower doing so much work. And now they go for a turret dive. But Predator's tanking at the moment, so they need to swap that out. They're going to deny the inevitable as Piper just switches target and chomps onto the Gnar instead. And it's an absolute shellacking as they take so many down. 4 members. And the first turret of the game.
Yeah, it all started from Praedyth outplaying Incurcio on the flank there. It was actually a 1v1, and Praedyth really outplayed Incurcio with the flash. And then it led to an extended fight. Pabu's a little bit too fed with the Divine Thunderer. Used the Subjugate at the perfect time, got so much value out of that. And it was ultimately just like a the cookie crumbled. Like, one person went in, they died. Next person went in, they died. And I mean, we got the replay here, right? Pabu's in here 1v3. Hook misses. All good. But that chomp is unreal with the press the attack. Red buff ticking, red smite ticking. Praedyth finishes that off. And again, we talked about what Praedyth we're going to get today, and unfortunately for Legacy, this is the best AD in the league, Praedyth. doing so much
There's
work.
nowhere to run now, is there, for Legacy, right? They're looking to try and regroup and try and re-huddle underneath this tier 1 bot turret. Be the case there, and ultimately blow this game wide open now because Pentanet find themselves up by 5,000.
Yeah, and it's kind of out of nowhere, right? Like, it was just a 1k lead, 1k lead, 2k lead. Wasn't that much of a big deal. Then all of a sudden, one dragon fight and, yeah, it's a 5k deficit. And it doesn't get better. I mean, Aphelios is only going to get stronger. Pair that with Lulu. Don't really find a way in which he's going to die.
It just makes Incursio's job so hard, right? Because I think the replay we were looking for was the one we went for the Solomon to Predator fight. Had to deal with a polymorph, then a silence, and then ultimately Nakali just taking him out of the fight. We might see another fight, and it's, wow, it's just styled caught between two turrets.
He probably feels like he's done nothing wrong in that instance. It's just PGG a little bit too far ahead at this point. And, you know, we talked about Legacy and their surge in form, I guess, or the wins that they've been able to pick up. And for me,
oh no,
Smithy.
He's chucked that one just a little bit too far away. Now Chaz taunting him with the mist, forcing him to soak up the turrets. Might just go for a 1v2 here. He has a flash, but the ultimate's already been burnt, so he's looking for the Q on repeat. Not willing to cycle for that one right now. Doesn't need to make a cross-map play because the rest of his team are making so many strides topside.
Yeah, just a desperation play there for Legacy. And this is nearly ballooned out to 10,000, Skimmy, in 18 minutes. Like,
it's a crazy turn of events.
Yeah.
I mean, it just feels like Pentanet were a bit of a sleeping giant, right? You knew they had the potential. You knew there's the skill setting there. They've had a few rough weeks, and people said, what's gone on? You know, you were taking games from some really strong teams at MSI. They've explored the idea of some new drafts and concepts, but this feels a little bit more like what we saw from Split 1, right? Where they went on that tier.
In PGG's defense, this is like their bread and butter. Like, they need to play well with this competition because this is what they kind of solidified themselves as a team in terms of draft. So the fact that they were able to get Lulu and Legacy weren't able to, you know, they weren't really able to get anything in return in the sense that, yeah, Viego's strong, Ziggs are strong, but I don't think it's like a Lulu, or it's not like your Lulu, your Karma that was being permabanned week, you know, for the earlier weeks in this split. So once they got this once they got this Lulu, you know, PGG even said themselves, we're just going to opt in for this big beefy front line, put Praedyth on Aphelios, and let the game kind of play itself. And that's what's happened. And if you try and do that with PGG, you're going to come off second best.
But I'll tell you what, it's an Aphelios now with a Kraken Slayer, completed boots, as well as the Runar's Hurricane. He has so much damage to offer, regardless of what weapon state he's currently rocking. He will do so much. The uptime is going to be fantastic, based on the fact that he's got all these bruises to buff him up, and the Enchanted there to protect him if need be. Might now be seeing a bit of a skirmish, a 1v1 as Bipam's just looking for the kill. Forget about the TP, that's wasted by Chaz. A Rapture, a Feast, and sweet dreams to the Viego.
Bit of a solo bolo there, and Sybil's got...
Sybil, he got some fancy feet. Blast Cone away, realizes he's being caught.
Praedyth doesn't use the cleanser. I thought he might go for a Captain Jack, but doesn't need to.
Yeah, he's held it, hasn't he? Because Sybil has to run the gauntlet, has to run between two turrets. Going to die to that. The kill once again goes across to Praedyth. They pick up a dragon as well, and 20 minutes in, Jubes, you mentioned a 10k gold lead isn't out of the realms of possibility, and this is huge.
And I guess this is PGG's way of saying happy birthday, Sybil.
Yeah, party poopers, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're not invited, that's for sure. I mean, I was invited, I'm going on Saturday, but PGG, they can stay at home. And it's just free Baron. Might picked up from Biopanther. Gonna have the Tromp up as well. There's no way to Smite steal this. Chaz is just for fun limit testing at the moment.
He certainly is. He's toying with the opposition. Dashes back into the mid lane and, yeah, causes confusion amongst the ranks of the Legacy as they had to deal with the screen displaying. Baron's being picked up. 11 kills to 2. It's only 21 minutes in.
Yeah, 21 minutes in, 10k gold lead. Not much to say really, particularly against this Baron. It's going to be very hard to defend. I don't know, you know, they have the Ziggs for wave clear, sure, but this early into the game, I don't think Ziggs does enough damage to wave clear Baron minions, if I'm being completely honest.
Something's going to try though, between the mines. The charge the bombs and everything else in between. Might have to actually even commit the ultimate if the wave gets stacked up enough. Otherwise, we might find ourselves in a similar situation where 1-3-1 takes place. And you are just bleeding resources across the map to balloon this gold even further. As if that's enough already, Pablo once more just literally runs into the turret between his teammates and takes out Star. Now 0-4, finding no success in his pick at all. Another flash away because these pillars are fantastic. And this is what Trundle in the jungle should look like, as Winter is so grateful that he went mega in that split second, because Praetor with the sniper gun Moonlight Vigil might have just soloed him from halfway across the map.
Now, do they go for the end here with this Baron buff, with this Rift Herald, with the Cho'Gath here? I wonder what decision PGG decide to make, but they're on the way pinks to top turret, so I don't think they're going to be greedy. But Praetor is just a little bit too strong.
Oh no. Inquisitor tried to get rid of the Herald. They were successful, but he paid his price for it. The sack not really worth it right now. Praetor still has the ideal weapon set up. No life leech, but he's got range, and he can take you all down in a swift motion just like that. 23 minutes into this game. A dismantling.
Yep.
An absolute dismantling here by Pensnet, showing up that they mean business, that they've had enough of experience, that they've had enough of playing around and giving teams chances. They would have gone themselves on a bit of a win streak, and they don't want to be invited to that party, but they won't mind because it's another dub on the board.
That's a statement game. I mean, there's really not much to break down, other than PGG just kind of outclassed everywhere. Like, it's as simple as that. I mean, Chaz got solo killed in the mid lane. He's not going to be happy about that one. But besides that solo kill, you know, there's not much to it.
Oh, crazy.
I could break it down, but it's a 10k gold lead at 20 minutes. Baron goes down straight away. I mean, Mac, what do you got something for us about that game?
Yeah, that was probably, I am asking, I'm inquiring, I'm questioning whether that was the fastest game of the split so far, because it just ticked over that 23-minute mark. If they just went for the end initially, maybe it was. I don't think we've had anything sub 20. Maybe we've had a 21-minute game, but
we did last split.
24. Okay, well, this was shorter than that. So maybe it was the shortest game of the split. Anyway, we'll put that one on hold for now, and we'll get that one confirmed. But still, it seemed like, yes, there was the solo bolo from Incursio straight at the start, so Chaz is not going to be happy with that one. But it didn't really matter in the end, did it? Because PGG just looked so damn good all throughout it. Pabu as well, just getting so much value out of his pick with the Trundle. Look how tanky that team comp is from Legacy. I saw that and I was like, oh my, this is not going to go well for Legacy. And it didn't. So everything goes well. Objective control there as well. When you do have the Cho in there, you get that bite as well as the extra smite from Pabu. And everything just seems to be so much harder. So yes, there was a couple of opportunities and a couple of decent fights in there for Legacy, but it looked like they were just in a different league and not for the better Jubes.
Not for the better indeed. And I mean, to sum this one up, I read something from Twitch chat, and I think that person hit the nail on the head. Is I hope Sybil still has a happy birthday, and that's all I'm taking. That's all I'm taking away from this game, because again, like you said, Praetor and Decoy really just took over this game. They played fantastic. They had blinders. Pabu set them up for success as well, and across the board there wasn't much to do. Like, the bot lane was just way too stable, way too good, and yeah, like.
I mean, this damage graph is kind of what you want when you invest everything into an ADC, right? If you're looking to say, we'll be a front line, we'll buy you space. If you're going to get jumped on, we've got a Lulu to protect you. You need somebody that's going to go full damage, full man mode craziness. And he certainly delivered, right? Like, he certainly got that done for his team. I mean, special mention to Pabu because his pillars were just fantastic, always forcing out flashes or just denials of counter engages. The fact that BioPanther literally could show up to a fight and just hit an ultimate and, you know, say job done. The team are just finding a lot of success and kind of giving us what we expected of Split 1, right, where it did feel so favorite bias in that regard, right? This is kind of what you'd expect to see. But Legacy will be kicking themselves thinking we had a draft that had some ideas but just weren't able to execute upon them.
Well, there you have it. Now, Nat has a surprise for us down on the side lanes. What's the surprise? I had a birdie tell me you might have the two players.
Yeah, I do. This time we're shaking it up and we're going to be doing a post-game interview with two players, Pabu and Chaz. It feels so good to be able to interview, I guess, two players from the same team. But firstly, congratulations to both of you. And this question is for you, Pabu, the draft. You like to talk about a bit of a draft diff, so walk me through the draft.
I don't know. Like, Sejuani's just the most fake champion in the game. Like, I really don't know why people pick this champion. Also, into Akali, like, what happens with Sejuani is like people that get melee auto attack get stunned, right? But Akali goes into the shroud and suddenly she just can't get hit. And even if she gets Sejuani ulti, she's still in the shroud and also can't get hit. So like, it doesn't beat our mid champion, and then it's just an awful blind and it's balanced like really poorly. Like, no one actually wants to play Sejuani. Like, I don't know, it's so troll.
Would you have to pretty much agree wholeheartedly with that one, Chaz?
Yeah, I mean, I was like pretty screwed from the early game, like due to my misplays, and still like in the side lane, they were like trying pretty hard to kill me, but my champ just can't like die to Sedge. Like Sedge just literally can't function against the Kali. So I think this seems like a strategy they probably prepared. That's why they gave the Akali, because Viego like is decently playable into Akali, but like the matchup they paired it with didn't seem that good. I think like Viego Sejuani is like not a bad pairing, but like Jackson said, you just can't like Akali's just a champion doesn't really get punished by that type of style. So it was a bit strange that style, well, that like pairing, I think.
Even though we did see you go down as first blood, I believe, Chaz, do you guys think, I keep asking it, right? It feels like a bit of a narrative or a storyline that you guys aren't having the strongest early game, and even though you guys had that first blood, do you think you were able to recover a lot quicker than you have been able to previously in this split?
Well, I think like, nah, I don't really think like it was any different. Like he took TP, I mean he took Ignite, which is like really good for 1v1, because I had TP, like I didn't really fall behind at all. Like I was able to hold like a pretty good XP lead, which was probably more valuable than the first blood. So I never really like fell that behind. I don't think like I think our early game wasn't that bad this time, but that was more so just the draft. Like me dying was just my own fumble, and the Herald, I think we should have been able to punish a lot bot sides. Me dying again there was bad. I think it was just me played pretty poorly, but like our early games, like this wasn't like a terrible early game considering how hard I think we outscale. And I don't even know how much we fell behind. We probably fell behind a little bit, but like it's not like we're winning the early game, but we're not falling too far behind, so it's like good, I guess, for our comp. But we're definitely wanting to be like having the lead, and that's not coming just yet. So it's something we still need to work on. But like I think if I didn't play terribly, we would have had a lead this game. So my team played well. The early games will be coming. One of these weeks we'll be having a good early game and we'll flip that stuff around.
I think it's like, I don't know. Well, I don't think we're like strategically bad in the early game, or we're all stupid players or something. Like more often than not, it's just like one person just has a bit of a shocker, and like I don't know. Like for example, like the Direwolves game, where I just like ran it, right. Like I was the only person playing poorly in that early game, and most of the time it's usually like one person makes a pretty catastrophic mistake in terms of something that's like, it might not be that big, but it just has huge impact over the individual like role inside of the game, and that's usually why it goes pretty bad. It's not like, not often is it like, oh, like we've just made terrible decisions. It's, oh, like we've just kind of griefed it on an individual level, and it becomes really hard to rescue from there, even though like we're not, you know, we're not too silly as players.
I really quickly want to know, when it does feel like the fumble is maybe a little bit too big, how do you guys keep that composure between you?
I like, to be honest, I don't really feel that different when we're like winning or losing. The environment kind of like stays the same. Like when we're really far ahead, like a lot of jokes start coming out. But like when we're like winning normally or like slightly losing, it's pretty much the same. Like everyone's just saying the same things. No one really gets that upset. Like this game, like it was a pretty like shitty early game for me, but I had like full faith that everyone's going to do well in the sides. Like I'm just going to get carried. So like my input is the same and my team's still inputting the same, whereas like if I killed him level 2, it would have been the exact same either way. Like I don't think I'll like we're not really prone to tilting, I think, as a team. So it's like the environment, literally 90% of the time is the exact same. When we got like a 10k goal lead at 15 minutes, like we're just talking complete shit the whole game. But yeah, for the most part, it just doesn't really change that much.
I love it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's like
thank you.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
Quickly.
Alright, no, go.
No, you go. Oh, look at you, let's do it. Well, let's go.
No,
you go.
it's just,
you got this, Pablo.
it's just,
You're the star.
It's just like the only time that it's like really doomed is when there's nothing to play through, right? Like usually someone inside of the game is like, yeah, I can still play the game, right? So you always go to like whoever feels like they can play the game. So even when the game is like doomed, usually one person on the map can still play the game. Even if like, you know, 4 or 5 players have had a roughie, like there's usually one, maybe half a player like can still play the game. So there's always a way to continue progressing, even in like the worst of games.
Yeah, I love that you guys have that mentality, and it is really positive for you all over at Pentanet. But thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations again on quite an amazing victory.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There it is, the double interview going swell, by the way. Both those players looking so damn handsome after a W. And again, Pabu spitting facts at everyone. So, you know, if you are a doubter, don't get on Pabu's bad side. He'll tell you how it is. And now it is time for the player that delivered. And I think it is no surprise to everyone that today it's the big man. He's got it. He's done it. I'm sure he's going to be damn happy about it as well. Pradith getting the DoorDash player that delivered, getting himself that $100 DoorDash voucher. And we can see what he is going to use that with in the next couple of days, as it is a super week and we potentially have him up for another interview. 73% kill participation, the flawless day as well. No deaths and 6 assists, 5 big Ks and 24% gold share. So that's pretty damn good, isn't it, Juice?
Yeah, the damage share is the big one for me, particularly when they pick a composition so focused around you. The fact that he was able to, you know, output those numbers whilst not dying, obviously a testament to the team, but obviously well done by him too.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those drafts, Mac, where, you know, we've had like the previous interviews, we said my team is literally like inting, so I can't ever get it right.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the only exceptions to the rule. It's like a team draft where he has to pop off, right? So if he doesn't, he's still not going to get it, but if he does, then it's almost like guaranteed. So he's going to be stoked, no doubt.
Yeah, look, I was thinking that Chaz was actually going to have a pop-off game because last time we got to see him on that Akali, he went absolutely ham. Speaking of ham, you hungry? Exclamation DoorDash in chat. Get yourself a ham sandwich. Ladies and gents, we're going to go to one more short break. Please enjoy the Warner music for the day because we've got one game left. That is Dire Wolves and Mammoth coming up just after this.
Yeah, Pop on a bit of a tear right now. 1v3 Subjugate is just alive and kicking. It does so much to mitigate this damage. Predator from afar with the Moonlight Vigil. The AoE of the Flamethrower doing so much work. And now they go for a turret dive. But Predator's tanky at the moment, so they need to swap that out. They're going to deny the inevitable. And